I'm 81 years old, and I need to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Most of what you believe about life, about aging, about how you should spend your days is wrong, dead wrong. And I know this because I believed the same things for 61 years. 61 years of my life. Let that sink in for a moment. Not taken by tragedy or circumstance. Wasted. Wasted by my own hand, my own choices, my own refusal to see what was right in front of me. You might be thinking, who is this old man to tell me I'm doing it wrong? And you'd be right to wonder. I'm nobody special. I didn't build an empire. I didn't cure a disease. I didn't change the world. I was a middle manager at an insurance company for 38 years. I lived in the same house for 42 years. I followed the rules, checked all the boxes, and did exactly what I was supposed to do. And that's precisely why you should listen to me. Because I am you, or rather, I was you 30 years ago, 40 years ago, maybe even last week. I was the person who said, someday. I was the person who said, when things settle down. I was the person who said, after I retire. I was the person who kept waiting for the perfect moment to start living. And the perfect moment never came. Let me tell you about the day everything changed. It was March 14th, 3 years ago. I remember the date because it was my 78th birthday. My wife, Margaret, had been gone for 2 years by then. Cancer, the brutal kind that takes everything slowly, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but memories and regrets. I was sitting in my recliner, the same recliner I'd sat in every evening for 20 years, watching the same news channel I'd watched for decades, eating the same microwave dinner I'd eaten 1,000 times before. And the phone rang. It was my daughter calling to wish me happy birthday. We talked for maybe 10 minutes. She asked how I was doing. I said, fine. She asked what I did that day. I couldn't remember. And not because I'm senile, but because that day was identical to the day before it, and the day before that, and the 100 days before that. After we hung up, I sat there in the silence. And something cracked inside me, not broke, cracked. Like ice on a frozen lake when spring finally comes. I started thinking about my life. Really thinking about it. Not the highlight reel we show other people. Not the story I'd been telling myself to feel okay about my choices. But the truth was this. I had been on autopilot for most of my adult life. I went to college because that's what you were supposed to do. I took a stable job because that's what you were supposed to do. I bought a house, got married, had kids because that's what you were supposed to do. And somewhere along the way, I stopped asking myself what I actually wanted to do. Margaret and I had talked about traveling when we retired. We had a list. Ireland, where her grandmother was from. Japan, because I'd always been fascinated by the culture, the national parks out west. We were going to buy an RV and just go. But first, we needed to save more money. Then the kids needed help with college. Then there was the wedding to pay for. Then we needed a new roof. Then her mother got sick and needed care. Then. We never went anywhere. We had 43 years together, and we never made it to Ireland. We never saw Mount Fuji. We never stood at the edge of the Grand Canyon holding hands. We were always getting ready to live. always preparing, always waiting for the right time, and then she was gone, sitting there in that recliner on my 78th birthday. I realized something that should have been obvious, but somehow wasn't. There is no right time. There is no perfect moment when everything aligns and life says, okay, now you can start living. Time doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. I got up from that chair and I walked to the garage. I found the box I'd been avoiding for 2 years. Margaret's box. The one with her journals, her photos, her little collections of things that mattered to her. I spent the next 6 hours reading her journals, page after page of her beautiful handwriting. And you know what I found? Dreams. So many dreams. She wanted to learn to paint. She wanted to volunteer at the animal shelter. She wanted to take a cooking class and learn to make real French pastries. She wanted to write letters to her grandchildren, real letters, telling them stories about her life. She wanted to live fully, presently, joyfully. And she kept waiting, just like me, waiting for retirement, waiting for more time, waiting for permission from a universe that never gives permission. I found an entry from 15 years before she died. She wrote, "Someday when things are less busy, I'm going to start really living. I'm going to stop postponing joy." 15 years, she had that thought. 15 years, she knew she was postponing, and she still didn't change. We didn't change. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed doing math. Terrible, sobering math. If I'm lucky, really lucky, I might have another 5 to 10 years of reasonably good health. Let's say 10. Just to be optimistic. That's 3,650 days. That sounds like a lot, until you realize it's only 120 months, or 10 winters, 10 springs, 10 chances to see the leaves change color. And suddenly, 10 years doesn't sound like very much at all. I started thinking about how I'd spent the years since Margaret died. 2 years, 730 days. And I couldn't account for most of them. They just evaporated, disappeared into a fog of routine and numbness, and waiting for nothing in particular. That's when the real lesson hit me. The one that took me 61 years to learn. We think we have time. We think tomorrow is guaranteed. We think we can postpone the things that matter because there will always be another chance, another day, another year. But we can't, and there won't be. Every single day you wake up, you're spending a currency you can never earn back. You're exchanging a portion of your finite existence for whatever you choose to do with those hours. And most of us, we're exchanging it for nothing, for distractions, for other people's priorities, for some imaginary future version of our lives that never actually arrives. I wasted 61 years waiting for my life to begin, waiting for the perfect conditions, waiting to have more money, waiting to have more time, waiting to be more ready. And the cruelest irony, the times when I was most alive, most present, most truly living, they weren't the times when everything was perfect. They were the messy times, the unpredictable times, the times when I stopped planning and just existed in the moment. I remember when my son was 4 years old. We were building a snowman in the front yard. I was supposed to be at the office preparing for a meeting, but it had snowed overnight, and he was so excited. And for once I said yes instead of later. We spent 2 hours out there. We made the stupidest looking snowman you've ever seen, lopsided, carrot nose falling off. My fingers went numb. I got snow down my boots, and I can still see his face, red-cheeked and grinning like it was yesterday. That meeting I missed, I don't remember what it was about. It probably wasn't important, but I remember that snowman. I remember my son's laugh. I remember being fully present in my own life for 2 precious hours. Why did I have so few moments like that? Why did I treat presence like a luxury instead of the whole point? After that birthday, I made a decision. I wasn't going to waste whatever time I had left. I was going to stop preparing to live and actually live. I started small. I called my daughter and asked if I could come visit for a week, not for a holiday, not for a special occasion, just to be there, to have breakfast with my grandkids before school, to be present. I joined a book club at the library. I'd always loved reading, but convinced myself I didn't have time for clubs and socializing. Guess what? I had plenty of time. I'd just been spending it watching television I didn't care about. I started volunteering at a veterans center, playing chess with other old guys who actually appreciated conversation instead of small talk. I took Margaret's ashes to Ireland. I scattered them on the cliffs of Moher while the wind whipped around me and rain soaked through my jacket. And I cried. I cried for the trip we never took. I cried for all the some days we postponed. But I also felt something I hadn't felt in years. I felt alive. I felt like I was finally honoring her, honoring us, by doing the thing instead of planning the thing. I learned to cook. Real cooking, not microwave dinners. I'm terrible at it, but I don't care. The point isn't perfection. The point is engaging with life instead of sleepwalking through it. I started writing letters to my grandchildren. Long letters, telling them about their grandmother, about my mistakes, about what I wish I'd known when I was their age. And here's what I want you to understand. These things I'm doing now, they're not special. They're not extraordinary. They're just life, real life. The life I could have been living all along if I hadn't been so convinced that life was something that happened later after I'd checked all the boxes and met all the requirements. You're doing the same thing right now. I know you are, because everyone is. You're telling yourself you'll pursue your passion after you get the promotion. You'll travel after you save more money. You'll learn that instrument after things settle down at work. You'll spend real time with your kids after this busy season ends. You'll call your parents more often after you get through this project. After, later, someday, soon. These are the words we use to postpone our lives. And I need you to hear this. Someday is not a day of the week. Later never comes. The busy season never ends because we just move on to the next busy season. There will always be a reason to wait. Always another obligation. Always something that seems more urgent than the quiet, essential work of actually living. You think you have time. You think you're different. You think somehow your story will have a different ending. That you'll magically wake up one day and everything will be perfect. And then you'll start. You won't. I thought the same thing. And now I'm 81 years old, sitting here telling you that I wasted most of my life waiting for a moment that never came. Do you know what nobody tells you about getting old? It's not the physical deterioration that's the hardest part. It's not the aching joints or the pills or the doctor visits. It's the regret. It's looking back at all those years and seeing them for what they really were. Empty, postponed, traded away for things that didn't matter in exchange for a future that you assumed was guaranteed. Margaret used to say she wanted to paint. Every few months she'd mention it. We'd be in a museum or we'd see something beautiful and she'd say, "I'd love to learn to paint that." And I'd nod and we'd move on with our day. After she died, I found 3 sets of art supplies in the basement, still in their packaging, unopened, unused. She bought them 3 different times and never opened them because she was waiting for the right time, waiting to be less busy, waiting for retirement. She died with those paints still in their packages. Don't die with your paints in the package. I know what you're thinking. You have responsibilities, bills to pay, people depending on you. You can't just drop everything and follow your dreams. You're being realistic, practical, responsible. I'm not telling you to quit your job and move to Bali. I'm not telling you to be reckless or irresponsible. I'm telling you to stop treating your life like a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is the show. There's no practice round. There's no second take. Every day you wake up, you're spending irreplaceable time. The question is, what are you spending it on? Are you spending it on things that matter to you or things that matter to other people? Are you building a life you actually want or a life you think you're supposed to want? Are you present or are you waiting? Here's a test. Think about yesterday. What did you do? Can you remember 3 specific moments where you were fully present, where you weren't thinking about what's next or what's undone or what you should be doing instead? If you can't, you're not living. You're existing. You're on autopilot, just like I was for 61 years. Time is not infinite. You know this intellectually, but you don't feel it. You don't live like it's true. None of us do until it's too late. I have maybe 10 years left if I'm lucky. You might have 50. You might have 60. You might have 6 months. None of us know. But here's what we do know. We have today, right now, this moment. That's all any of us actually have. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep postponing? Keep waiting for the perfect time that will never come? Keep trading your precious limited time for things that don't matter? Or are you going to wake up, call the person you've been meaning to call, take the trip you've been planning forever, start the project you've been putting off, have the conversation you've been avoiding, learn the thing you've always wanted to learn, do the thing that scares you? Not someday, today. I wasted 61 years. Don't waste another day. Your life is happening right now. Whether you're paying attention or not, the question is, are you going to show up for it? I'm 81 years old, and I finally learned to show up. I finally learned that there is no later. There is only now. Don't make my mistake. Don't wait. The time is now. It's always now. It's only ever now. What are you waiting for?